life is unfair. It never was, it never is, and it will never always be. The moment you start thinking that life should be fair to you and to everyone is the moment you start falling into the delusional trap of the modern feminized society today. We are not born equal, and we are never meant to be the same. Every man, every woman, every child, and every living creatures are born differently, grow up differently, and experience life differently. These are what make a separate individual who can be complementary to each other. And at first, these differences between us may seem unfair. Yet understand that the outcomes of who we are and who we can eventually be are seldomly determined by the degree of fairness. What we get is what we put in life. This is the reality you must accept. This is assuming we live in an environment where there exists the freedom of choice. Life is certainly unfair without equal access to opportunities and equal expressions of our own potential. Equality as a notion was meant to resolve these issues by expanding freedom and alleviate sufferings amongst the oppressed. However, equality today means something else, not as an expansion of opportunities nor potentials for the individual, but as a means to an end, towards the creations of an utopia that egalitarian equalists believe to be the right place, or at least feel right, for every human being to exist. Equalism is the new obsession, and those who are in support of it would do anything to help push such narrative, even at the sacrifice of our freedom, which is often reflected amongst the policymakers and the political campaigns we see today. Where freedom is oppressed is where life contains misery. Yet somehow today we are more entertained in the ideas of being equal rather than being free. Thinking that everybody can, should, and must be equal in terms of both intrinsic and functional value, which is at the core of equalism, is not just a delusion, but an antithesis to the nature of human being and to the developments of mankind. Such belief often operates on modes of resentment or ignorance or both, a perspective that is birthed from a fantasy rather than based on a factual truth or from the reality, pushed towards generations of men and women into believing that their entire life is oppressed and that they should not be happy, nor grateful, nor satisfied with what they have and what they achieve in life. Equality of outcome, in disguise of equality, is one of the most skewed and dangerous ideology that have undoubtedly destroyed many civilizations of the past, yet only to be brought back to life by the weak, by those who cannot accept the reality for what it is, and those who are resentful of the competent hierarchy caused by the individual differences. The danger of such belief does not only lie in neutralizing human desire and biological differences, but also in restricting freedom and disincentivizing individual talents and potential in hopes of fueling the equalism narrative. It aims to alter the reality to fit the needs of the individual and makes everybody equally valuable agents, and by doing so, it demerits individual strength and weaknesses and their efforts, giving the presumptions that their success or failure is not by choice, but because of some other external factors that is not at their own faults, resulting in the victimhood mentality amongst millions, always blaming and making excuses for their failures, for their misery, instead of taking responsibility and owning up their flaws. This is why we see things such as participation trophy or the constant redistribution of wealth, all because of the belief that we all should be the same, our earning, our educational outcome, and even our self-esteem. The consequences of such ideal are enormous, to the degree of detriment, especially to the developments of the younger generations, and to the way they conceive of themselves and of others within the reality of life. To presume that we are all equal, despite the nature of human being, is an unfair presumption. To expect sameness amongst everyone in terms of competency is a form of inequality itself. The existence of our differences has become an issue needs to be resolved instead of something to be embraced. And the appeal of equalism itself is no different than the concept of love. Nobody can comprehend the full degree of what it really means, but they fully believe that it is the end goals for all human beings, for it often sounds good and feels right, instead of something being rationalized and well thought. Emotionalisms run through the society today, and our feeling is the very last thing we should rely on when finding solution and deciding what is best for humanity as a whole. Equality of outcome is a striking example of this, despite the threat it imposes to the nature of life and to the future of mankind. While on the other hand, equality of opportunity, ones that encourage freedom, wealth, and expressions of potential, is a more compelling goal to strive for. It has its own set of limitations, but it has proven itself to be the most successful tool that allow each of us to choose our own destiny and hence determine our own happiness. So confront the reality, accept our differences, celebrate our strength, and embrace our weaknesses. It is always better to look towards the light outside than the darkness inside the cave, because we all do have the capacity and potential to become more valuable to others and to ourselves in our own distinctive way, to then walk the path of life that each of us wants to live. Alright, this is the messages. Like, comment, subscribe if you appreciate the messages, and let me know down in the comment what you think about it. Alright, catch you in the next video. Peace.